Our world was completely turned upside down that night, right? It took us 10 years from scratching and clawing our way, to survive, to transform ourselves and to transform ourselves and to think like leaders.
That's right.
We began creating a new life off awareness, acceptance, and action as part of our process to recover from physical, financial, and marital issues. Without knowing it, we were cultivating a no surrender mindset in everything that we touched. You find people who are in the same direction with you, right? Guess what? People who are negative, they find a bunch of people on the same path that they are too,
All negative.
right? They're all staying in the bucket. And I'm like jumping out like a bean. Get me out. Got to go, right? What we found out is after that night, one of the hardest things that I had to do was remind myself daily that bad things happen to good people.
That's right.
Right? And a book I read that changed my mind was from Harold Kushner, Why Bad Things Happen to Good People, right? But I also know it happens to bad people too. So since I live on this earth, I am eligible for bad things to happen, but I'm also eligible for good things. Isn't it strange how good people bad things happen to and how bad people sometimes get all the good things to happen? That's not for me to figure out. Since I'm human, I'm eligible for both, right? So I developed the belief that we did not survive this just to be, to continuously play victim or to be content to accept the existence that was forced on us. No, that wasn't going to work for us. Instead, we strive to succeed daily, and that means something different to everybody. So define what success means for you. Lisa and I have our own definition of success, right? It's finding the most exotic beaches in the world, right? Traveling together and speaking together. It's different for us than other people. That means something different to everyone. Life is short. I refuse to live in fear.
It's time for you to live this life. It's time for us to live our lives. You are here for a purpose. It's not just to be. You got to find within yourself who you are, why you're here.
Do you know your purpose? Really? If you sat down, do you really know why you're on this earth? And if you don't, it's okay. The idea is that you have that in your subconscious mind as you work through your life experiences. I'm telling you, in my 20s, my purpose was completely different than it is now, right? Completely. It was all about me. In my 30s, it was all about us. In my late 30s and 40s, it was just surviving, right? And then in my late 40s, and then I won't tell you anything else. Now it's about excelling and giving. So it does change. Our world was completely turned upside down that night, right? It took us 10 years from scratching and clawing our way, to survive, to transform ourselves and to transform ourselves and to think like leaders.
That's right.
We began creating a new life off awareness, acceptance, and action as part of our process to recover from physical, financial, and marital issues. Without knowing it, we were cultivating a no surrender mindset in everything that we touched. These three powerful solutions gave us the opportunity to stay together for over 25 years. And if you know me, and we went through, woohoo, she needs to get like the President Star or something. It allows us to develop and grow our businesses and naturally step into a leadership role, right?
See, before this event happened, we faced many adversities in our lives that challenged it. They tested us. Right. This is not the first time we actually faced our death. And we've had to reinvent ourselves time and time and time again.
Right.
Look, life can be tough. Leadership can be tough. You are required to grow even if you don't want to.
Yep.
It's not a punishment. It's an opportunity.
One of my favorite quotes, and I have it on my practice card, is from Martin Luther King Jr., right? And it says, "As my suffering mounted, I soon realized that there are two ways in which I could respond to my situation, either to react with bitterness or seek to transform my suffering into a creative force. I decided to follow the later course, Martin Luther King Jr. Are you ready for that transformation? It's time for you to get into the driver's seat. Chart your path, take charge of your destination as the leader you were meant to be.
You know, we're living proof that it can be done. Because look, if you're not coming at us with a knife in your hand in the middle of the night, life is pretty good.
That's perspective, right? Adversity can last a long time and it can change your circumstances. If you don't handle them properly, they can stop you in your tracks, or it can even start moving you in reverse. Leaders handle things when they get tough, not when everything is going well. Leaders don't come to the base of a mountain and say, I can't climb that, and quit. Leaders don't take their team and say, follow me, and go halfway up the mountain and say, whew, we did a pretty good job, let's go back down. They don't do that, right? Leaders can't stop. They will keep going, reaching to the top of the mountain no matter what. When people tell them they can't, they will keep going. When storms arise, they will push through, or they will wait to storm out and then keep going. They always have a plan. They take everything they have learned and apply it to help propel them onward and upward.
You cannot fall apart when things aren't going smoothly. When you overcome your adversities, you learn to become responsive, resilient, and adaptable. By facing your adversities and going through difficult times, you're more alert to the arising issues because you faced something similar in your past. You're emotionally resilient because you've had to overcome something tough in your life. And you're able to adapt if things don't go your way, or they need to be changed, or you have to move into a different direction, because that's what leaders do.
Adversity is one of the things that are guaranteed in life.
That's right.
Along with death and taxes, as Lisa said. And in business, being able to overcome them is such a powerful tool in your tool chest towards reaching success and becoming the leader that people desire and deserve. So start to cultivate your no surrender mindset.
We're going to turn it back over to you, Caleb.
Caleb and Ashley, take it away.
All right. That was phenomenal. I'm over here running out of paper, trying to take some notes. Thank you all so much for that. If anyone has a question, go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll go ahead and get those questions out. Something I was thinking of, and maybe a question in a roundabout way you all have answered throughout the talk, but the event you all went through, I've heard it before, but even like hearing it again, it's like, hold on, I don't think I heard that right. Did he say like, how many times, were the wounds and just the details there? I'm like, hold on, they can't, no, I don't think I heard that right. So just listening to that and the shock of myself hearing it, let alone, I guess, the trauma there of you all experiencing that. I'm sure you wouldn't wish, that experience even on your worst enemy, but out of the trials that came from that night, and then, the days moving forward where you all were working to get victory through that, what are some of the big things, and I know you've hit on this throughout the night, but what are some of the main things that maybe you didn't touch on that you would say are the items that, didn't enjoy the experience, didn't enjoy the trauma of all of this, but out of all the craziness and the storm of it, these were some awesome things that came as a result, that in a sense may have made it worth it, or are things that you were able to take out of the ashes of the event?
I know for me, the biggest thing was, and I don't share this very often with people, like I had mentioned, I'm a faithful person. And when we went through this event, everybody heals from trauma differently. Everybody processes it and goes through it differently. I worked through mine pretty fast. I was forced to, because I had so many roles that I had to play, that you just don't let everything go to the wayside. You pick it up, you handle it, you deal with it the best that you can. At least that's what I've always been taught as a strong leadership type of a woman in my family. I was taught to be a leader growing up. And my husband, he struggled. You know, it was tough. What he had been through, what had been taken from him, it was a tough hit, and it changed him for a while. And in that time, it was really hard to accept what he was going through, because in my selfishness, I was not being treated the way I wanted to be treated. I was not able to really have him. I was a single mom trying to hold everything down, keep it all together while he worked on his stuff. And I remember it came to a point where I thought, we're going to have to get a divorce. I cannot stand this any longer. I am miserable. This is tough. And I went to some of the ladies in my churches or my church, and I asked them, this is what I'm contemplating. What do you think? And thank God I went to them. And they said, well, has he cheated on you? No. Has he verbally abused you? No. Has he done anything to make you want to leave? I said, well, yeah, he doesn't pay any attention to me. He's in his own world. Things are not the way. And they said, you know what? This is what those vows mean. In good times and bad times, sickness and health, riches and poverty. Well, you're stuck in all three of them. But that was your vow. You need to start living towards your vow. I recommend you start praying for your husband. You know what? That was the best advice I had ever heard. And it changed our future moving forward. He didn't change right away, but I began to change. And I began to pray for him. And I began to see him in a different way. And slowly over time, he changed because I was becoming more loving and giving. And because of that, it saved our marriage. And so for the next many years to come, we've been able to share that, develop it, give back, talk about leadership, talk about trauma, talk about, many different areas, working on the inside, creating that no surrender mindset.
For me, when I think about Caleb, what you asked is, I immediately go what was taken from me, right? Because we didn't share how deep of a hole we were in. What I mean by that is, like when she mentioned, Lisa said she had to deal with a lot of stuff. I was void. I was like a soldier coming back from war. I've had psychiatrists tell me that I had bipolar, I had personality disorder, I was PTSD. Here, take this, take that. I was like, nope, don't want it. Nope, don't want it. Nope, don't want it. I would put myself in situations in life. She wouldn't know where I was for hours of the day. In the evening, I just go. And what I wanted to do, I was put myself in situations to get in fights. I had so much anger in me. I felt disconnected. To tell you the truth, is this the tab that I have to pick up, God, for the life I lived previously? Right? And so I had to wrestle with that. That was the biggest question I had to really wrestle with. Here I am, right? I'm 30, 36, 37 years old. And I have this walker with 4 tennis balls, right? I'm looking like a champ, right? I look like Charles Manson. I had hair at that time. Hair was long. I couldn't sleep, so I was sleep deprived. I was not on no medication, hallucinating that a faceless guy would come in our house and attack him, right? I was all kind of messed up. And I remember walking into this meeting with this guy, and this guy smiling. And he comes up to me and he goes, how you doing? And everyone touches me really soft, right? And he goes, I'm so excited for you. I go, what are you excited for? He goes, because you get to rediscover the God that you believe is your belief. Because I describe it this way. I had a designer guy. You can handle this, but leave my finances alone, right? You can handle this, but don't touch that. That blew the doors off all that. What that event, which I don't recommend, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, is what it came out for me is that I don't care anymore. I have so much short period of time. When you faced your mortality, right? The little things in life, when people say, I just don't care. I care who people who care for me. I found out a new thought process is to meet energy with energy. If someone wants to be around me, I want to be around them. If they don't want to be around me, I'm okay, right? If you love me, I love you. If you don't love me, it's okay, right? I reciprocal, right? It's allowed me to get a second wind. I was down for a decade. The reason why Lisa was wanting to leave, she didn't tell you that part, is because I would tell her, honey, take our kid and go away from me. I'm no good for you. I'm damaged. I don't think I'm going to come out of this, right? I'm damaged. I mean, who quits their job? Oh yeah, I'm going to leave my job. Click. I'm out. Peace out. You know, I was not right. I wasn't on medication. We couldn't afford counseling. We couldn't do any of that because I just quit the job that had the insurance, right? And, so, and my routine was this. My routine was I would do outside sales just enough because we like living indoors and having heat in the cold in winter, right? So I would do just enough to do that. Then I would come home at noon, watch Jerry Springer when that was on, right? Dr. Phil and Oprah, because that's all I could handle, right? And we worked really hard to hide or protect our son from that. You know, so what has come out of that that's positive is that I know, and I may be telling the tale, I know that I have a ride or die partner. You know what I mean? Like she will ride with me till the wheels come off, right? And I got her back through anything, right? It allows us to really connect. And we talk, when she says we talk to couples, it just kind of happens when we sit around and talk to couples, because Lisa will really go really straight to the females and talk to them. Oh, you're not, you know, tell her story about it. He's not giving me attention. Don't tell her that, you know? And I will talk with the guys and we're very straight, right? We believe in marriage. We believe in sticking and staying and learning. We believe in that. So that's one of the things that come out of that for us. And just the fact that she accepts me for who I am, warts and all, and I accept her for who she is. And she's perfect.
In his eyes.
Right. She's perfect. And so, but in our philosophy is about being individuals. Instead of saying, you know, traditionally everybody would say, I'll take care of you, honey.
I got your back, babe.
I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of responsibility, right? You're not making me happy. You ain't meeting my needs. Woman, go cook me something. No, that's Urban Cowboy, sorry. But any of that. So we changed it to like, I'm responsible for me. I'll bring a better me to the relationship. You're responsible for you. You bring a better you to relationship. Then we do this thing that I don't hear at all, is we learn to be a couple. We experience life together. We take time and go to weekend retreats. We listen to Love and Respect, right? We listen to Tale of Two Brains by Mark Gungor. We learn to be a couple in this world.
Or we go to leadership events like the John Maxwell Convention.
Exactly right.
We are always pushing ourselves to grow, always, whether it's separately or together. You know, we're always trying to push past what our top is.
Yeah.
You know, how can we blow that off? What's next?
Right.
You know, my parents, they're in their 80s, they still work. You know, that's going to be me. I am still going to be working and pushing myself to do something until they pat me in the ground with a shovel.
Right.
Just got to keep going, keep moving, keep striving, keep seeking.
What awareness that happens is, if you really think about it, go to a restaurant, sit down and watch everybody in the restaurant. And we used to love to do this and go, we try to figure out who's the newlyweds, who's just dating, right? Who's been married forever. And you'll see all different types, right? But then you'll see this one fantastic thing. It's this older couple, right? And they're just, and we're thinking, they've been together a long time. What are they talking about? They know everything. And when we talk to older people, they go and they have their lives and they come back and they share it. right? They have things to talk about. You don't do that if you're constantly not living life or learning or growing.
Or you have your head in your phone.
Right. I mean, I'll take Lisa, and another thing is I'm like, hey, honey, I found this thing on Groupon. Are you in? She's like, I'm in. It's like 10 sessions of Zumba, right? Once a week. So we're so busy, we know that if we don't force ourselves to go meet somewhere for an hour, it won't happen for us to connect. So there we are, one hour a week at Zumba, 18 women and me, right? And we're in the back of the class just laughing. I'm falling over because my leg don't move right? I'm falling over. Then she gets another text. Hey, hon, I got this thing on Groupon. I'm in. Boxing. So now we're doing 10 weeks of boxing, right? Next thing we know, we've always been into some kind of martial arts.
Because of what happened to us, we're concerned about self-defense.
That's not good. When I met Lisa, she didn't tell you this. She was full-time. She used to fight karate full-time for points. So you know how you date and you're like, oh, that's pretty good. You know, I'm like, yeah, sure you did. I put my hand up here. She went, pop, pop, pop. I'm like, okay, I agree with you. She kicked my hand a couple of times. I'm like, I'm good. And so as a family, we take Krav Maga too. So we just continually to push ourselves, right? And so what has allowed us to do is don't take ourselves so seriously, right? People are going to judge you anyhow, right? They are. I mean, when people got on this stream, they looked at these two people like, who are these guys? I know they're judging. It's okay, right? It's okay. I don't take it seriously. We don't take ourselves too seriously.
Life's too short.
Life's too short.
One question that came through, so I won't keep you all forever, but I will ask this.
No.
It's, you mentioned that leadership is lonely. How do you combat those feelings of loneliness, or how do you deal with that?
I guess I've always felt alone as a woman anyway. So something for women and for men who don't know a lot about women. Being a woman is tough.
We don't know nothing.
It is tough. Women are very judgmental. They will critique you. You will step out of the car and they will look you from head to toe, and they already know whether they're going to like you or dislike you. It's taught from a very young age, your self-esteem. We're always hearing things on the media about how skinny we should be, what kind of makeup we should wear, how we should do our hair, what is acceptable to society in a man's eyes, how do we use what we have to get what we want in life. It's just constantly brought on us from a young age. And so I struggled with that. I struggled with that growing up. I struggled having very low self-esteem because it was a competition. Every girl I met was competing with me, and I just didn't like that. I didn't like having to be competitive with other women. I always thought women should be on the same team. Women should be fighting for each other in this type of a world. It should be like that, but it's still not. So even from a young age, I always felt that I was alone. Moving into leadership, it's no different. It can be lonely. A lot of times you're out there on your own. You're trying to figure it out on your own, especially if you don't have anybody around you, but you do. You have all these leaders around you. You just don't have access to them physically. So you can go on YouTube. You can get books. We used to have tapes and we'd stick them in our car.
Tell our age.
We still have them all the time. You know, we listen to positive affirmations. We're constantly feeding our mind with things that we're hearing, learning, knowing, seeking. It doesn't matter who they are. They could be in our industry. They could be out of our industry. It could be about our spirituality, our emotions, growing as a leader, learning how to talk, presenting, whatever it is that you have an interest in. Go find people on the internet for free, get their information, and start feeding your mind that. That helps combat that loneliness because you're not alone. You're not alone. Find people on Facebook. You know, continue joining the Lead Talk. Listen to the leaders. You know, be a part of that community. Reach out, email. You know, text people. Get on the Facebook groups and be a part of that. Seek that information, and that's going to bridge that gap. You know, as a leader, you tend to group with other leaders. You're going to
Yep.
find them.
Yep.
You're going to find other leaders, and they're going to become a part of your life.
Right.
They'll probably be in different states, in different countries,
Right.
but start making those connections. Start, even if it's just one person a month, start bridging that gap. Fill that void with other leaders.
The reason why I said leadership is lonely is if you listen, the leader, it's just like, right, the leader of a big corporation, they're in charge of so much stuff, right? And there's thousands of people that they have to responsible for. They're responsible for. It's lonely because you have to make decisions that you listen to everybody, but you decide, right? People that aren't liking what you're saying, but you decide and you go forward. As a leader, you cannot hang out with managers. That's why it's lonely. They teach it Managing 101. Once you become a supervisor or manager, you can't hang out with your team because you're privy to information that they're not privy to. So as leaders, it's a higher level. I'll share this one example is when me and Lisa joined this group, I remember coming to her and saying, honey, I think I need to fly to Oklahoma City for the conference. She looked at me. She goes, okay, ride or die, right? I'll stay home and hold it down. So I show up at this conference, 10,000 people at this conference, okay? I'm looking for one person, right? This guy's making $250,000, $350,000 a year. He's a multiple, millionaire. I'm looking for him. I ask everybody, I'm just talking, you guys know this guy, you know this guy, you know this guy, yep. And he said, stand here, he'll come out right here. I'm standing right there when he shows up. I'm looking for him. I'm looking for people to connect with. I can sit on my couch and hang out with a bunch of people. I have to go seek to find the people who are going in the direction I'm going into. That's an active, right? Caleb and Ashley and us, we connected. We connected because why? Because we were in the same direction, trying to improve ourselves, getting certified, learning. We are coaches and leadership. That's a connection. Leaders trying to figure out how to lead. What's their gift? When you have a purpose, you'll find people with that same gift. So I started by buying these tapes to listen to people to change my mind. Then I started taking risk and putting myself around people. Back in the day, you actually had to get out of your house. Today, you don't even have to get out of your house, right? You don't have to. Look, I mean, we're streaming, all over. So you don't have to get out of your house. You're learning to be a leader just right now and connecting. So it is lonely. How do I deal with that loneliness? Is you find community. You find other leaders that are going in your direction. Mastermind groups is a number one too, where you connect with people who are on the level like you and you just meet once a week to encourage, right? The church has a great idea, little small groups, right? They meet up. That is a community, right? A mastermind is a small group of people who are like-minded, who encourage each other to move forward.
So many principles tonight on success and so many nuggets to take away from everything you all said. We truly appreciate you all coming on and taking the time to share with our group. I just want to go ahead and say, I'm calling it as you all are launching your speaking and some of the different engagements you've got going on. I'm really truly am believing for the best ahead for you all, because you all are very gifted at what you all do. Thank you all for taking the time to listen. You can check out Michael and Lisa White on Facebook. Website, MichaelAndLisaWhite.com. Is that it? Michael.
Everything is Michael and Lisa White. Facebook is at Michael Lisa White Speak. Okay. YouTube is Michael and Lisa White. Just put YouTube and you'll find us there. Fantastic host. We appreciate, Kayla, we appreciate you, Ashley, for inviting us on. We really got a kick out of this. This is kind of what, as you can see, where we get our energy from.
We appreciate everyone listening today, and just check out their Facebook page, check out their website. They've got some other amazing videos of some previews of other speeches they've done and talks. So check those out for sure. Be sure to follow them on all of their social media platforms. Amazing content coming out there. And we are excited for the talks up ahead. So I hope everyone has an awesome week. And thanks for being a part of the community.